What's the dumbest reason someone refused to believe you? My college roommate thought I was lying about being colorblind because I could still drive a car and knew what color things were. This happened during my sophomore year when I was living with this guy named Brad who thought he was some kind of genius. He'd constantly quiz people on random facts and act like he was smarter than everyone else. When I casually mentioned that I was red-green colorblind during a conversation about traffic lights, Brad immediately called me a liar. His reasoning was completely insane. He said that if I was really colorblind, I wouldn't be able to drive because I couldn't see the difference between red and green lights. When I explained that traffic lights are positioned differently, red on top, green on bottom, he said that was just an excuse I'd made up to cover my lie. But it got worse. Brad started testing me by holding up random objects and asking what color they were. When I correctly identified a red apple as red, he'd act like he'd caught me in some elaborate scam. He couldn't understand that being colorblind doesn't mean you see everything in black and white. I tried explaining that red-green colorblindness means certain shades look similar, not that you can't see any colors at all. But Brad was convinced he'd uncovered some massive deception and started telling everyone in our dorm that I was faking a disability for attention. The situation escalated when Brad decided to expose me during a party. He brought out a box of crayons and started holding up different colors, demanding that I identify them in front of everyone. When I got most of them right, he declared victory and announced that I'd been lying the whole time. That's when our RA, who happened to be studying psychology, stepped in and offered to settle the argument. She pulled up an online color blindness test on her laptop, one of those tests with colored dots that form numbers if you have normal vision. Brad was so confident that he made a big show of it, gathering everyone around the laptop screen to watch me take the test. He kept saying things like, "This is going to be hilarious when everyone sees he's been faking it." The first test showed a bunch of green and red dots with the number 74 hidden inside. I stared at the screen for about 10 seconds and said I couldn't see any number at all. Brad immediately jumped up and said, "See? He's not even trying. Anyone can see that's a 74. But here's the thing. People with normal color vision see 74, but people with red-green color blindness like me see 21, or sometimes nothing at all." The RA pulled up the answer key and showed everyone that my response was exactly what someone with my type of color blindness would see. We went through 5 more tests, and every single time my answers matched perfectly with the colorblind results while being completely wrong for normal vision. Brad's face got redder with each test as he realized he'd been totally wrong. The final nail in the coffin came when the RA showed Brad a test that only colorblind people can see correctly. People with normal vision see one number, but people with red-green color blindness see a completely different number. I immediately saw the number 5, while Brad saw nothing. The entire party started laughing as Brad realized he'd spent weeks accusing me of faking something that was clearly real. He tried to backtrack and claim he was just making sure I wasn't lying, but everyone had witnessed his confident proclamations. The best part was when someone pointed out that Brad's logic meant that millions of colorblind people around the world were all participating in some massive conspiracy. The idea that I would fake a minor visual impairment for no apparent benefit suddenly seemed as ridiculous as it actually was. Brad never questioned my colorblindness again, and anytime someone mentioned something being obvious, people would joke about how obvious it was that I was faking being colorblind.